Hey folks, this is Vince with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly review Surviving Mars. This is a game that you can find on Steam for about $40. There are some DLCs available for it, Green Planet, for example, Space Race, Colony Design Set, and so on. Out of all of them, I like Green Planet the most because there is a terraforming project that you can try and accomplish as you're playing the game. You're going to be terraforming Mars from this red barren rock into an Earth-like planet, and you'll be trying to create atmosphere and increase the temperature. You can create lakes to, I suppose, increase the water count on the planet, the moisture. There's forestation projects that you can do and slowly transform the red sand into, something a bit more habitable for humans. But anyway, I digress. What is Surviving Mars all about? Surviving Mars is a simulator where you are trying to survive on Mars. Now, the game does not plop you onto Mars and you have to survive. This is a game where you are in charge of a company and you have to use your funds wisely to try and set up livable, I guess, domes, as they would call them in game. And this is where your people are going to live. But before you can even ship anyone to Mars, you have to make sure that you're producing water, that you've got oxygen going, among other things, in order to keep these people alive. And not only do you have to keep these people alive, but you have to keep them happy as well. There are various services that you have to put into the domes, as well as housing, to keep them happy. Like there's an infirmary for medical treatment, there's space bars, like people can go there and drink, socialize. Think The Sims. Every colonist is sort of, they need certain things, and as they fulfill these needs, their bars will go up in that respective category. So yeah, so part of the game, at least the first part of it, is creating some kind of presence/production chain on Mars. You're going to be mining out metal and concrete and other raw materials that you'll need in order to get your colonies going. And then once you've got your oxygen and your water and your power taken care of, you can start building domes and then shipping people to Mars. And these people have different skills. Some are engineers, some are officers, which are more for security. You've got scientists, botanists, and these are specialists that work in particular buildings. So the farms that you create, for example, your botanists prefer to work in them. And if a specialist works in a building where they're not really well suited, like if you have a botanist working in the research center where scientists typically work, they would suffer some kind of penalty. So you gotta, sort of make sure you're balancing people as you're shipping them to Mars. And you can actually pick and choose how many people to ship to Mars, up to 15 by default. I believe it's 15. And you can also choose their, who you're bringing as far as professions. If you see that the computer assigned a lot of engineers to that particular shipment, you may want to click some of them, get rid of some engineers, and move maybe botanists or scientists into the shuttle instead. And these people also come with flaws and perks that will also help you or hinder you. Some are gluttonous, for example. Others are nerds. Some are celebrities. So various aspects of their personalities will increase morale, decrease morale, increase production, decrease production, and so on. You'll be combining various domes. You'll be creating these domes for people to live in, but you can only have so many buildings in a dome. There's these slots, and you're going to put buildings into slots that you want. But once you run out of space, you have to create another dome for them to work in, and you have to connect them with, there's a little tunnel that you can create that will connect the two. Now, with the expansion, with the Green Planet expansion, you can increase Mars's habitability to the point where you can actually get rid of the domes altogether. Like the domes will just come down, the protective glass dome will come down, and they will just breathe the air freely, in which case they won't need those tunnels anymore. And that's another reason why I like that Green Planet DLC. There's research in this game, so you'll be generating research points based off of, you can have scientists research in laboratories. There are passive ways to gain research as well. In fact, whenever you first create your game, you'll be able to create a sponsor, or at least choose between different sponsors. And each sponsor has something different to offer. You'll also be able to choose what kind of leader you are, whether you're a mayor or like a terraformist, or you can pick a specialty, and that specialty will help you through the entire game. So there are ways to passively generate research points, and then there are ways to actively generate research points. But long story short, there's an extensive tree, and these skills are randomized every game. So the skills that are on the top of the tree that are the cheapest will not be the same from playthrough to playthrough. So the starting technologies that you see will be different. And then as you research technologies across a particular path, more will become visible, and then you can start researching those. But the further down the tree you go, the more expensive these technologies become. So you kind of have to, get more people in, get more scientists in, find ways to generate more research. You can outsource your research and get have a third party research give you research points, but you have to pay money. Speaking of money, you're going to run out of money in this game pretty quickly unless you find a way to make it. And there's a couple of ways to do it. There's this rare metal that you can mine from the surface of Mars, and then you can ship it back to Earth, and you'll get money that way. That's the primary way to do it. There's also research technologies that will give you either a one-time boost to your income, or it's a repeatable research where you can just keep researching it, and you'll get 250 million every single time, or something like that. So, yeah, I know there's a lot to this game that I haven't touched on. I just want to simply say that this is a fantastic game to play. There is a bit of a learning curve associated with it, but it's a very enjoyable experience. There's various buildings to construct. You can customize your experience. There's modifiers when you're creating a game, so you can turn off disasters. There are AI opponents that you can play with. They're not going to be visible on the map that you're on. Like, you pick a spot on Mars, you land there, and that's your immediate map. And each location, like in RimWorld, for example, will have, like, say, this location has a lot of metal and a lot of concrete, whatever, but is low on this or low on that, or is this area over here is highly susceptible to storms, so you may want to watch for that, or comet disasters, different things like that. So you'll pick a location, you'll land there, and that's when you'll do your thing. But there are other AI opponents on Mars that will help or hinder you. You can trade with them. You can turn them off completely if you want to. There's multiple AI opponents. There's like China. Just pick a nationality. It's usually in there. There's also Paradox Interactive, the developer, publisher of this game, or the publisher, I should say. They are in here as well as a company, and so on. So there's AI opponents. You can customize your experience. You can turn off disasters, increase production. Some of them will turn achievements off, so if you're an achievement hunter, you just have to watch out for which ones you pick. It'll warn you. There's also an in-game radio, which is fairly enjoyable to listen to. There's like 5 or 6 different stations to listen to, and those are pretty good. So I have no problem putting those on. It's sort of like the City Skylines soundtrack, the Stellaris soundtrack. This particular soundtrack is really good, and I've listened to these radio stations multiple times. So, all in all, this game is fantastic. My only concern, really, like I said, is the learning curve associated with it. Expect to fail a number of times going into this. You'll find people dying, getting the balance right. People age in this game, so you'll go, well, how do I balance, overpopulation? Oh, I don't have enough workers all of a sudden. Wait, why do I have unemployed people but vacant jobs? There's a lot of different things in this game that will make you scratch your head sometimes and go, well, why isn't this working the way I want it to? Or how do I get it to work the way I want it to? That being said, I have, oh gosh, I can't even tell you how many hours. According to Steam, I have 73.9 hours on record. I've terraformed Mars completely in my latest playthrough. There's also scenarios, too. You can choose a scenario-free experience, or you can choose a scenario where a story is introduced, and you'll have to see it through. And that's kind of cool. There's easy, medium, and hard. scenarios that you can choose between. I think they're pretty cool. So do I recommend Surviving Mars? Absolutely. It's a lot of fun. I do recommend the Green Planet DLC as well. There are some other ones too, like there's the Space Race DLC. There's like various narrative events, and there's unique vehicles and buildings, mission sponsors. I would recommend looking into that one too. That one isn't too bad. The other ones, like the Mars Vision Song Contest, is $4. That's one of the radio stations you can unlock. There's a Stellaris Dome set, a Mysteries resupply pack for extra scenarios. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot that you can get with this. Just be warned that the base game is $40. All of the DLC together is roughly 60 bucks. So you're spending $100 roughly for this game. Now, I quoted that price, $40. That is the digital deluxe edition. The core game is $30. The digital deluxe edition is $40, and all the DLC is like 60. So you're still looking roughly between, roughly around $100 or so for everything. But do I recommend this on a sale? Yes, absolutely. And the game is usually on sale. It was published and released in, I think, 2018. So you'll find it on sale in various locations regularly, especially during like a Steam summer sale or something. So yeah, I recommend this one. It's really good. If you guys haven't already, subscribe to me on Twitch and YouTube. That way you can stay up to date with any new content I'm going to publish. This is Vince. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.